Hello everyone, welcome to the history class for class 7. Today is day 1. We are going to start with the new lesson, the Vijayanagara and the Bahmani Kingdom. Let's discuss the key concepts of the lesson. The key concepts of the lesson are introduction of the topic, disintegration of the Tughlaq Empire, rise of Vijayanagara Empire, early history, sources of information, dynasties. The dynasties were the Sangama dynasty, the Saluva dynasty, the Tuluva dynasty, Battle of Talikota. Features of Vijayanagara Empire, decline of the Vijayanagara Empire, introduction of the Bahmani Kingdom, features of the Bahmani Kingdom. Let's discuss the learning outcomes of the lesson. The learning outcomes of the lesson are: children will be able to identify the location of kingdoms, assess the reasons for emergence of the Vijayanagara and Bahmani kingdom, understand and discuss the major achievements of the kingdoms, appreciate the architecture legacy left behind. Let's discuss the new terms which you are going to study in this topic. Zenith, the highest point; utopian, idealistic, disgusted, strong disapproval; chaos, complete disorder, disastrous, causing great damage. Introduction of the topic. As in the previous lessons of the Delhi Sultanate, we had already learned that such flourished dynasty came to end after the first battle of Panipat, but it was not a sudden thing. The Sultanate started decline. After the death of Firoz Tughlaq, the Sultanate began to disintegrate. Most of provinces in the north and the south declared their independence. In the south, two powerful and independent kingdoms emerged, called Vijayanagara and the Bahmani kingdom. Vijayanagara means city of victory. It was the name of a city and an empire. The empire stretched from the river Krishna in the north to the extreme south of the peninsula. Peninsula means an area covered with water on three sides. Whereas the Bahmani kingdom stretched from the Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal. It included the whole Deccan up to the river Krishna. Let's read the topic. Lesson number 7, the Vijayanagara and the Bahmani kingdoms. In the south, there sprang up two powerful and independent kingdoms called the Vijayanagara and the Bahmani kingdoms. As its zenith, highest point, the Vijayanagara Empire stretched from the river Krishna in the north to the extreme south of the peninsula, land surrounded by water on the three sides. Vijayanagara means the city of victory, which was a name of both a city and an empire. On the other hand, the Bahmani kingdom stretched from the Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal. It also includes the whole northern Deccan up to the river Krishna. Initially, its capital was at Gulbarga in Karnataka and afterwards at Bidar in Karnataka. For disintegration, breakdown of the Tughlaq dynasty. As I have already told you, in the previous chapter also you have learned that this flourished empire has not declined in one day. It has started from the Tughlaq dynasty. Muhammad bin Tughlaq AD 1325 till 1351 brought almost the whole of the northern India and the Deccan under his control. Muhammad bin Tughlaq wanted to capture whole world. In order to that, he sent many expeditions to many parts of the country. He controlled full northern India and Deccan in his control. His empire extended from Dwarasamudra district in Karnataka in the south and from Bengal in the east to Sindh in the west. Sindh is in Pakistan. However, during the reign of Nasiruddin Mahmud Shah Tughlaq, he was the last ruler of Tughlaq dynasty, AD 1394 till 1413. The Tughlaq dynasty shrank a lot. Shrank means to break down a lot. Following are the factors were responsible for the disintegration of the Tughlaq dynasty. So there are not only one factor which was responsible for disintegration, there were the several factors which were responsible. Now we will discuss one by one. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's policies and experiments lacked farsightedness and practicability. Muhammad bin Tughlaq failed to translate its utopian schemes such as taxation in Doab, transfer of capital, and the token currency into reality. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a learned person. As a sultan, he came with many reforms for the welfare of the people. Unfortunately, all the experiments were failed due to poor execution. Like taxation in Doab, he implemented heavy taxes on the Doab. In the Doab regions, the people were suffered over their transfer of capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, and he also failed in his schemes of expeditions. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's famine, shortage of food, and the foreign policies lowered his prestige. His violent, unpredictable, and hasty behavior disgusted strong disapproval the people. What happened here? When he put to increase his finances, Muhammad bin Tughlaq raised the land revenue in the Doab region. Unfortunately, when the revenue was increased, there was a famine due to lack of rains. But still the officers of Sultan continued to collect the raised taxes. The farmer had to abandon their land in order to rescue themselves. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was succeeded by Firoz Tughlaq AD 1357-1388. Firoz Tughlaq was not an ambitious general. His reign was marked by no significant conquest. He did not take any firm action against the Vijayanagara and the Bahmani kingdom. During the reign of Firoz Tughlaq, the main disintegration was done in this period only. When the Delhi began to disintegrate, most of the provinces declared their independence. The Sultanate was confined to the areas around Delhi and the Punjab. After Firoz's death, there was utter confusion and chaos, means complete disorder. The rulers became puppets in the hand of the nobles. Temur's invasion. The final blow to the Tughlaq dynasty was after the invasion of Temur. Temur was a Mongol leader of Samarkand in Central Asia. He invaded India and plundered enormous wealth. He murdered thousands of the people and made hundreds of the people prisoners. Gave a death blow to the Tughlaq dynasty, and its effects were disastrous, great damage. The empire was broken up. Nasiruddin Mahmud Shah Tughlaq tried to regain his lost power and prestige, but all went in vain. All were failed. He could not able to regain his power and prestige. With this, the Tughlaq dynasty came to an end, and it was a rise of a new independent kingdoms in the south, Vijayanagara and the Bahmani kingdom. Let's discuss more about these kingdoms. The Vijayanagara Empire was founded by two brothers, Harihara I and Bukka I. They were the sons of the Sangamas. They were the chief of Kakatiyas of Wrangle. When Tughlaq Sultans Muhammad bin Tughlaq conquered Kampili kingdom, the two brothers were captive. Then they took to Delhi and forced them to embrace Islam. They were then reappointed at Kampili to conquer the region for the Sultanate. The people of Kampili offered a strong opponent. Then Harihara I and Bukka I were greatly inspired, and they were then encouraged by a saint Vidyaranya to accept Hinduism. Then they took themselves to the task of liberating the people from the Muslim rule. Vijayanagara Empire AD 1336-1646. The Vijayanagara Empire was founded by two brothers, Harihara I and Bukka I, in AD 1336. The early history. Harihara I and Bukka I were the sons of Sangama. Sangama was the name of father of Harihara I and Bukka I. They were initially the feudatory chiefs of Kakatiyas of Wrangle. Kakatiyas was a South Indian dynasty whose capital was Warangal. When the Tughlaq Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq conquered Kampili, and now Kampili is a kingdom which was a short-lived Hindu kingdom in the early 14th century in the Deccan region. He made these both brothers captive, took them to Delhi and forced them to embrace Islam. They were then reappointed at Kampili to conquer the region for the Sultanate. First, they were captive, they took to Delhi, they forced to embrace the Islam. Then, they were reappointed to Kampili to conquer the region for the Sultanate. The people of Kampili offered tough opposition to the brothers, and they failed to attempt to conquer Kampili. Hariharavan and Bukkavan were greatly inspired by the spirit of independence of the people of Kampili. They were the strong opponent. They don't want to allow the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's army or these two brothers to capture them. They were then encouraged by a saint Vidyaranya to accept Hinduism. Then they start following the Hinduism. They took upon themselves the task of free the people from the Muslim rule. The two brothers Hariharavan and Bukkavan start following the Hinduism, and they were encouraged by the saint Vidyaranya to accept Hinduism, and they start freeing the people from the Muslim rule. In AD 1336, Hariharavan established the independent kingdom of Vijayanagara and became its first ruler. Now the Hariharavan was the first ruler of Vijayanagara kingdom. Hariharavan died in about AD 1353. He was succeeded by his brother Bukkavan. After Hariharavan, the Bukkavan was the ruler of Vijayanagara kingdom. He ruled from AD 1356 to 1377. He completed the building of the city Vijayanagara, city of victory. What is the other name given to Vijayanagara? City of victory. Vijaya means victory and Nagara means city. It was the name of both an empire and a city. It was on the southern bank of the river Tungabhadra river. Our next topic is sources of information. Our main sources of information for the history of Vijayanagara Empire are the account of the foreign travelers. Notable among them were Niccolo di Conti from Italy, Abdul Razak from Persia, Afanasi Nikitin from Russia, Duret Barbosa from Portugal, Domingo Pais from Portugal, Fernão Nunes from Portugal. These were the foreign travelers who came to the empire, and they record all the political, economic, social condition of the Vijayanagara Empire. The account of these travelers who came in the 16th century AD give us the detailed information on the political, economic and the social conditions of the Vijayanagara Empire. Dynasties. Series of rulers belonging to the same family. The Vijayanagara Empire that lasted for nearly 310 years was ruled by more than 16 kings. These kings belonged to the four main dynasties. The Sangama dynasty, AD 1336 till 1485, the Saluva dynasty, AD 1485 till 1405, the Tuluva dynasty, AD 1505 till 1570, the Aravidu dynasty from AD 1570 till 1646. The Sangama dynasty, AD 1336 till 1485. The founder of this dynasty was Hariharavan. The dynasty is named after his father, Sangama. Sangama was the name of the Hariharavan's father. Hariharavan became king in AD 1336. When he became king in AD 1336, and he ruled for nearly 17 years. He, along with his brother Buka I, brought the entire territory of the Hoysala ruler under his control. Harihara I was succeeded by Buka I in AD 1356. Harihara I was succeeded by Buka I. Buka I was the next ruler after Harihara's death. Buka I died in AD 1377. The other important rulers of the Sangama dynasty were Harihara II, who was the first ruler who got the title of Maharaja Dhiraj. In the previous time, the Raja, the king, was named after so many titles: Maharaja Dhiraj, Maharaja, King, Rajan, and Raja Parmeshwara. Buka II, Devraya I and Devraya II. These were the other rulers after Buka I and Harihara II. The Saluva dynasty, AD 1485 till 1505. This dynasty was founded by Saluva Narasimha Deva Raya in AD 1485 in 1491. He ruled for nearly 6 years. Narasimha Raya II, AD 1491 till 1505, was the last ruler of the Saluva dynasty. Here you need to remember the first ruler, Saluva Narasimha Deva Raya, was the first ruler who was founded the Saluva dynasty, and the Narasimha Raya II, who was the last ruler of the Saluva dynasty. After this dynasty, we have the Tuluva dynasty, AD 1505 till 1570. This dynasty was founded by Veera Narasimha Raya. He died in AD 1509 and was succeeded by his younger brother Krishna Deva Raya. Okay student, this is the end of the topic. I hope you understood the topic and you can able to solve some exercises related to it. Don't forget to learn the terms. I will come with another video. Thank you.